Dear listeners, today we delve into a deeply transformative topic, prayer, as viewed through the lens of Neville Goddard's work Your Faith is Your Fortune. Let us begin with the words from Matthew 6 verse 6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." The experience of prayer, in its true essence, transcends the everyday supplications of most of humanity. Far from being a vain repetition hoping to be heard by God, prayer is the ecstasy of a spiritual marriage that occurs in the deep and silent tranquility of consciousness. Let us imagine prayer as a wedding ceremony with God. Just as a bride renounces her surname to adopt that of her husband, the one who prays must renounce their current state to assume the state of that for which they pray. The Gospels clearly instruct us about this ceremony. Enter into your room means to delve into the intimacy of consciousness. Just as on the wedding night, only the newlyweds are allowed into the consecrated place, in prayer only the one who prays and that for which they pray should be present. Let us close the door to our senses, leaving the world that surrounds us outside. This is achieved by completely withdrawing attention from everything that does not align with what we are praying for, with the desired thing. The second part of this spiritual ceremony is defined in Mark 11 verse 24, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." When we joyfully believe that we already possess or are that which we desire, we have taken the second step, spiritually realizing the scene of marriage and conception. Let us visualize the receptive mental attitude during prayer as a bride or a womb, for this aspect of the mind receives impressions. That which we contemplate being is the groom, for it is the name or nature we adopt and, therefore, what impregnates us. Lost in contemplation and having adopted the name and nature of the contemplated, our entire being is excited with the joy of being it. This emotion that runs through our entire being, when we appropriate the consciousness of our desire, is proof that we are married or impregnated. Upon returning from this silent meditation, the door opens again to the world we left behind. But this time we return as a bride in a state of pregnancy. We enter the world as transformed beings, and, although only we know of this wonderful romance, soon the world will see signs of this pregnancy, for we will begin to express that which in our moments of silence we felt ourselves to be. The mother of the world or the bride of the Lord is called Mary or water, because water loses its identity by adopting the nature of that with which it mixes. In the same way, Mary, the receptive attitude of the mind, must lose its identity by adopting the nature or state of the desired thing. Only when we are willing to renounce our limitations and our current identity can we become that or who we wish to be. Prayer is the formula by which these spiritual divorces and marriages are realized. Matthew 18 verse 19 tells us, "Again, truly I tell you that if two of you on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven." The two who agree are you, the bride, and the desired thing, which is the groom. When this agreement is reached, the child that bears witness to this union is born. We will begin to express and possess that which we are already conscious of being and possessing. Prayer is, therefore, recognizing that we already are what we wish to be, rather than imploring God to give us what we desire. Millions of prayers go unanswered every day because humans pray to a God that does not exist. Consciousness being God, we must seek in consciousness the desired thing, adopting the consciousness of that which is desired. Only when we do this are our prayers answered. Being conscious of being poor and praying for wealth is to be rewarded with that of which one is conscious of being, that is, with poverty. For prayers to be successful, they must be affirmed and appropriated. Let us adopt the positive consciousness of the desired thing. When we have a defined desire, something we truly want and not something we don't want, let us silently enter within ourselves and close the door behind us. Let us visualize our desire, feeling that we and it are one and the same. Let us hold this in mind and affirm with conviction and feeling that we already are that or already have it. Upon leaving our moment of prayer, we should feel the consciousness of already being or possessing that which before our prayer was only a desire. Remember, when we return from this silent meditation, the door opens once more to the world we left behind, but this time we return as a bride in a state of pregnancy. We enter the world as transformed beings, and, Although only we know of this wonderful romance, soon the world will see signs of our pregnancy, because we will begin to express that which in our moments of silence we felt ourselves to be. Dear listeners, do you realize the transformative power that resides in this form of prayer? It's not about pleading to an external God, but about aligning ourselves with the consciousness of what we desire to be or have. It's an act of profound faith and alignment with our internal creative power. Allow me to share a personal experience that illustrates this concept. Years ago, when I was struggling to establish myself as a speaker and writer, I found myself in a precarious financial situation. Each day was a struggle, and my prayers seemed to fall on deaf ears. It was then that I discovered this concept of prayer as an act of assuming the desired state. One night, in the quietness of my room, I closed my eyes and immersed myself in the feeling of being a successful speaker and writer. I visualized full auditoriums, books on bookstore shelves, and felt the gratitude and joy of living that reality. I didn't ask for it to happen, but rather immersed myself in the feeling that it was already so. At first, nothing seemed to change externally. But internally, something had changed. I felt different. I acted differently. And little by little, opportunities began to appear. An invitation to speak here, an offer to write there. It was as if the universe was responding to my new vibration. This is the power of prayer as understood by Neville Goddard. It's not a plea, but an act of alignment with our desire already fulfilled. It's an act of faith in action. Now, I invite you to try this for yourselves. Choose a desire, something you really want to manifest in your lives. It can be big or small, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it's something that truly excites you. Find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and enter your inner chamber. Vividly visualize that you already are or have what you desire. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the realization of that fulfilled desire. Allow that emotion to run through your entire being. And here's the crucial part, maintain that feeling. Don't let it go when you open your eyes. Carry that consciousness of being or having what you desire into your daily life. Act from that place, make decisions from that place. Remember, you're not asking for something to happen. You're recognizing that it has already happened on the plane of consciousness, and you're aligning yourself with that reality. Now, it's important to understand that this isn't instant magic. It's not about sitting and waiting for things to happen by magic. Prayer, in this sense, is a way of aligning our consciousness with our desire, which naturally leads us to take inspired actions that bring us closer to our goal. Think of it as programming your mind's GPS. When you have a clear destination in mind and feel as if you're already there, your internal GPS naturally guides you towards that destination. It shows you the way, helps you recognize opportunities you might otherwise have overlooked, gives you the confidence to make bold decisions when necessary. But here's the crucial part, you must believe. Faith is the bridge between your imagination and your reality. Without faith, your mental images are just passing fantasies. With faith, they become blueprints for building your future. And when I speak of faith, I don't mean a blind or irrational belief. I mean a deep conviction based on understanding universal laws. The law that says thoughts become things, that the inner creates the outer, that the mind is the architect of our destiny. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. If it were that simple, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer is simple, because not everyone knows it, and of those who know it, not everyone is willing to do the necessary inner work. You see, changing our habitual thought patterns isn't easy. It requires awareness, discipline, and persistence. It requires us to be willing to challenge our limiting beliefs, to question our assumptions about what's possible. It requires us to dare to dream big and believe in those dreams even when the outer world doesn't yet reflect that reality. But I promise you the effort is worth it. Because when you master the art of prayer as Goddard understands it, you become the conscious creators of your lives. You're no longer victims of circumstances, but the architects of your destiny. So I ask you, what are you praying for? What seeds are you planting in the garden of your minds? Are you nurturing visions of success, love, abundance, and fulfillment? Or are you allowing worries, fears, and doubts to dominate your mental landscape? Remember, the future isn't something that simply happens to you. It's something you create, moment by moment, thought by thought, prayer by prayer. You have the power to shape that future through conscious prayer. So I invite you, starting today, to become the conscious creators of your own lives. Not in the sense of predicting an inevitable future, but in the sense of consciously creating the future you desire. Pray vividly. Believe deeply. Act inspiredly. And always remember, prayer isn't a plea to an external God, but an act of alignment with the divine consciousness that resides within you. The creative power of the universe is within you, waiting to be activated through your faith and imagination. Thank you for being here today. May your prayers be powerful, may your visions be bold, and may your realities reflect the greatness of your highest dreams. Until our next encounter, keep praying, keep believing, keep creating. The universe is waiting to manifest your most beautiful visions. Until next time.